Nice.
Next.
All right, next guy up, J.J. McCarthy, quarterback, Michigan, 6'2.5", 219, 9-inch hands, 31 5/8-inch arms. He's 21 years old. He won't be 22 until January 20th.
Next year.
Yeah.
He'll play the whole year at 21 years old.
So he didn't run the 40, but he did have the 20-yard shuttle, so that's 4.23 in the 3-cone. 6.82 seconds. That guy was moving.
I was flabbergasted.
He was moving.
That's good.
That's
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
He's super athletic.
That is really, really good.
Yeah. I was like, he's the only quarterback that do it. I'm like, wow, that's like the best 3-cone.
Balling.
You would do it too if you could run it in 4 hours.
Under 7?
Yeah, 6.82
I was like, that was a receiver.
seconds.
I'd come away
Pretty happy.
impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Romo Dunze, who had a good one, had a 6.88.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. So J.J. McCarthy, really interesting prospect here. Very different than almost all of the other quarterbacks that we're going to discuss. One, he's very young. Almost all the other guys that we're discussing are 23, 24 years old by the time the season starts. So one of the youngest quarterbacks, at least of the main guys in this class, one of the youngest guys here.
In a long time.
And one of the fewest.
How old is he?
He's 21.
21.
He's not going to be 22.
Just turned 21.
Just turned 21
he's
like
not
2
gonna be
months
22
ago.
until
Month and a half
I
ago.
didn't know if we actually said it or not. Maybe
Yeah.
we did.
Well, man, listen.
We did.
All right, I missed it.
You're
Sorry.
right in the room with us.
Very echoey in that
But
garbage
also
can.
one of the only quarterbacks that has been on the same team his entire career.
He's not going anywhere. Crazy.
Almost all of these guys started one place.
He just enrolled a couple years ago.
and well, doesn't stop most of these guys these days.
How old is he?
One and done.
Jared's
One and
21.
done. So J.J. McCarthy, he was one of the top quarterback recruits in his class. Ended up going to Michigan. He came from IMG Academy, so it's basically a college already. IMG is it's nuts. If you've never seen anything on IMG, it's that high school it's basically its own university. Before,
I am good.
Yes,
Yes.
I am good university, basically. Yes. So he went there, then went to Michigan. Really productive player. And, well, actually, I take that back. He was not a very productive
Kicked
player.
Ohio State's ass.
Whoa.
I mean, he did.
He did, though.
Yeah.
I'm saying, whoa, don't remind me.
Obviously, he was a national champion this year.
Yep.
So a lot of good things happened, unfortunately, for that program this past year. All of that being said, J.J. McCarthy was arguably the most difficult evaluation for me of all of these guys.
Same.
Because most of what I saw, I really liked.
Yeah.
I think he's got very good mechanics.
Very good. He's sound everywhere.
Super sound. His feet are always in the right place. He's using like his upper body and lower body aren't fighting each other. Like just quick release. He's got a strong arm. Like all of those things are good. And he's a solid athlete as well. Like he can make things happen with his legs too. So all of those things and being a younger prospect, like I should be salivating over this guy. Here's the problem. At Michigan, they didn't throw the ball much. In fact, if you look at most of his biggest games, and when I say biggest games, not necessarily as far as his production goes, but the best teams that they played, the last 4 games of the season leading up to the national championship game, all against ranked opponents. In those games, he had 148 yards, 147 yards, 221 yards, and 140 yards. Like, they did not ask him to throw the football in big situations. He would have a throw here or there, and when he did, it looked really good. But that's the hardest part for me in evaluating him is if I'm taking a quarterback in the first round, I want to know that that guy can carry the load. And he was never asked to. So it's not a knock. It's just an unknown with J.J. McCarthy at this point. I don't know if he can be that guy or not because he was never asked to be that guy because they didn't need him to be. So it's a really odd evaluation compared to a lot of the other quarterbacks in this class.
In the Dynasty Nerds film room, where we watch all our tapes. So we have all these cut-ups where, you know, if a quarterback's on the play, we don't show the handoffs. We just show plays where he's going to have the ball in his hand, where either throwing it or running the football. Where, receivers, running backs are usually like 6-7 minute games. Some running backs, you get like 5-minute games. Quarterbacks are usually anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy's games,
5.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
If you watch the Penn State game, which is the only other ranked opponent he played
4
other than the
minutes.
last 4, 7 of 8 on the game for 60 yards. They threw the ball 8 times against a ranked opponent. Didn't matter. They won.
When
I
you're
think
watching
that-
a lot of tape, it's very pleasant.
I think that one was like 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh my god!
When I saw it, I was like, yes.
Score.
Grabbing that one.
I was the same way with every time I came. It was like 7 minutes. I'm like, yes, I gotta go through this whole game
So
because
fast.
there's a lot of games like I'll go back. Off if I see a player where like I go back and I hit the space bar like this, so I'm playing it in slow motion.
Oh, you can hold shift. You can hold shift and go over, and it'll slow mo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell me that. Remind me that after the show, so I know this. I just sit there and tap the.
We're just doing
Sometimes
the old
that's
video
easier,
games. When you're
His
trying
finger has
but-
like a 6-pack after it.
If
Well,
I'm
be
on
fair-
my iPad, I have to do it that way.
But sometimes though, to be fair, like even though I'm in slow motion, because I won't go. I'll like tap, and I'll like watch like. 'Cause I want to see where the other receivers are. Like I want to see what he's seen on all 22
exactly.
films. So yeah, I mean it's a great tool that we have in the Nerd, the film room here. And you mentioned like JJ, he's an interesting prospect because he's very sound. And the drumbeat in NFL is this guy's going top 12 in the NFL draft. Like he's going top 12, so he's getting a big bump in the Superflex. So even where everybody's saying, oh, top seven, it's really top 8 because you got to throw J.J. McCarthy in there if he goes top 12.
Where's Denver picking?
12?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's not
I
going.
don't think he'd get past them, right?
He's not going to pass them. I think some team's going to end up moving up.
I think that's like as far as he's going to go. That's his.
He's not getting past.
that's his
He's not
floor.
getting past Minnesota.
Right.
He's not getting past Denver. Like some team's going to jump.
Minnesota's
one of those
got a
teams.
high pick also, right?
Yeah, like 11.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking one of those teams is going to move up. The problem is Denver has no ammo to move up. Minnesota does.
Real quick, really interesting quote from Ben Solik, who does a lot of awesome stuff for The Ringer. He was from the Draft Network, really always plugged into a lot of the stuff. He was at the Combine, and he had this little blip in one of his articles that I thought was really interesting, so I'm gonna read it real fast. It says, J.J. McCarthy may be QB3. He said, it's smokescreen season, and I very well might be getting hooked by it, but in Indianapolis, I heard significantly more interest and excitement for how high Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy might go relative to how high LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels might go. My sense is that Daniels is not locked into an early draft slot, and the league has turned its attention elsewhere. McCarthy is a strong candidate to go before Daniels in April. Now, take that for what it's worth. It's one report, but it sounds like the league is very high on McCarthy, and I would not be shocked if he does end up finding himself top 10 draft capital just because the traits are so solid.
I would love to see him in like if we made it Denver. If Denver could somehow get him like in Sean Payton's offense, like I would love that.
Yeah.
The
I
whole
would love
team's
to see-
such a mess,
I
though.
would
That's
love
the
to-
hard part.
I would love to see Kevin O'Connell work with J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota.
I think
in
both
that
of
dome
those
with
would be nice
It'd be
fits.
really nice. And
I agree.
I have somebody else I want with Kevin O'Connell, but we'll get to him.
okay. And you know what's nice about J.J. McCarthy is you're right. When you watch the tape, like he's not going to blow you away, right? Like he's not going to sit there and go, "Wow, look at that throw!" Like Michael Penix will blow you away with some of his throws.
But that dude,
Jane
but this
Daniel.
dude makes plays when he needs to. When the game is on the line, he's making plays, man.
Every game you watch of him, every game, there's at least one throw that he makes, and you're like, "Wow, that was nice."
Yeah.
No, that was like one of my notes. He's a bona fide playmaker. Things just seem to happen.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I mean, I've watched him just stab my heart out and just rip it out of my chest and throw it on the ground and stomp it against Ohio State. Like
It's some of those throws, even against Ohio State, I'm
so
like,
lucky.
that's the thing. Like some of them, I'm like, was
Dude.
that luck or was that skill? Because had the DB been paying attention,
Picked it off.
Picked
The
it off.
safety, that one play went
yes,
between them. I
yes.
was like, I
how
said it
did
to
he
my
miss
cousin.
that? So like there are plays like that I'm like, did he know, or was that
'cause he
luck?
got hit
I
as soon as he threw
don't
it.
know which one it is entirely.
Hey, sometimes some dudes just have a rabbit up their ass, so, or a rabbit's foot.
I mean,
Just a whole rabbit.
I mean, dang.
Man,
Hey,
some
you're
guys
supposed to
have
pull it
a
out
moose
of your
up there. We don't know.
why is that a brown bunny? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, JJ. I mean, he's got like he's not like he doesn't have the strongest arm. Like he can get a little.
Hey, he threw 61 miles
I
per
think
hour.
he can make any.
But
any
it's
of the
good, it's a
throws
good arm.
at
It's a
the
good arm.
combine.
Yeah.
Their combine record was 62 miles per hour.
Yeah, I think he's got-
Joe Milton threw, right? He threw at 62?
Did he?
I think he did.
Okay,
Yeah, Joe Milton.
Oh, Jill Milton's got a good arm.
He's got a cannon.
that's about
Doesn't
it.
know what to do
That's
with
about
it.
it. Jamarcus Russell 2.0.
Yeah.
But worse.
We'll talk. We'll
What-
talk
what-
about
wait,
that. Don't
wait,
jump
wait,
ahead.
wait,
Oh,
Don't
come on,
jump
come
ahead.
on. Hey, spoilers.
Oscar's got to sit on something. So yeah, I mean JJ McCarthy. When we were talking about earlier in the show, like some really good value when you get like Roma Dunze. JJ McCarthy, if you're in a Superflex league, talking about a year where you could potentially, when you're sitting at pick 1-8, get a quarterback. Like, what a value. To the point of, like, if I'm at 112.
And he might slide just due to the fact that he didn't. Somebody that doesn't watch the film is going to go, look at, he doesn't do anything with
He will in our home
like
leagues.
he barely scores, and he touched like 22 touchdowns, four interceptions, not even 3,000 yards last year. Like, where are the stats?
He'll fall. He'll fall. And, like, I would be pretty aggressive if I need remotely. I would be, even if I didn't even need a quarterback. Like, there's so many times you don't have the opportunity to get that guy. It's kind of like the Justin Herbert year. Like, I was super aggressive moving up to 6, 7 in that 8 range to get Justin Herbert because he was falling kind of like that. So I was real aggressive that year. If I had a pick where I was picked 112 and I can get to 1-8, and I'd figure out a way what I had to get up to get a guy like J.J. McCarthy. Because I'd rather gamble on him than gamble on a guy like Brian Thomas. And I love Lad McConkey. Like, love him. But, like, even there, like, if I have an opportunity to get a quarterback that's going to have that kind of draft capital, like, I'm making that move. And to me, he's sound. And it's kind of hard to pick apart his game when he doesn't have that much to pick apart.
Well, and one thing that I would kind of like to see personally, I would like to see him go to a situation where he doesn't have to start right away. He is one of those kind of guys that I think he would benefit from sitting a year and just being able, because he seems like a real smart kid, absorb a lot of information before he's taking a lot of those hits. I think that would be the most beneficial thing for him. Now, depending on the team, they might not have that luxury. They might have to throw him out there right away. Yeah. But I would love it to be a Jordan Love situation, a Pat Mahomes situation, an Aaron Rodgers situation.
I don't think that's happening.
That's what I would like to see. But a team that could go that route, the New York Giants. The New York Giants would make perfect sense. Let Daniel Jones take his lumps for the year and then tread out McCarthy. But
let him get killed.
Yeah.
That would make sense, but then he's on a team that has a bad offensive line and no weapons to throw to, and I don't think that would help him at all either. So it will be interesting, but I think if there's somebody who's that young that can handle that, like, I think he could handle that. You know, he's a national champion, went to a Big Ten school, had an NFL head coach. Like, I think he's in a spot. Like, I feel that way about Drake May, for example. Like, I would love to see, like, Drake May go to New England and they sign Jacoby Brissett and he sits behind Jacoby Brissett for 6, 7,
I'd rather McCarthy
games.
sit than May sit personally.
Those were the two guys that before, I don't even know if I said it on this podcast, but those are the two guys I had in mind that I'd like to see sit for a year or even.
And they're the youngest ones of the group that could afford to. All the other guys are 24 and you don't want them sitting too long.
Right.